Hello, hello, hello! Greetings, everybody. We're back once again with Revolt Racing League. Here with Division 1. Got my man Goter with me here today. Anytime, Tara. Oh no, that's right, we got Toyeka here today. My bad, we got Toyeka here today. Shout out to the trusty blue Toyeka. We are here with the endurance session. It's only fitting to have him join us. So to hop straight into a quick pre-show rundown before we start the races, because we've only got 2 minutes or so before the lobby opens. Of course, we've got the IO session here on Saturdays, so usually a little bit of a late start. Yeah, sorry, it was just a bait. We don't have Terry here today. Sorry about that. Nick will not be here. Lampert should be here for the second track. I think Frost should be here for the second track as well. So we have a few people who are only going to make it for one of the tracks, which is going to be Rooftop Chase Redux Reverse, which will be quite fun. As for the standings that I've got pulled up, we do see a new era. G-Force has emerged into first place after 25 points in the strategy session. Frostbitten got second place in that, has moved into third place overall. Makakowski with 16 points for third. He is now fourth overall. We will have Power 8 hosting the session. Power 8 was the leader before the strategy session, so we'll see if he's able to take it back on endurance. Of course, if he's losing the track, he could just unplug his Ethernet cable and force someone to race again. So I'm interested to see if that tech comes out, if we will see an Ethernet cable pull from Power 8 if he's not winning, or if we'll race all the way through. A last lap Ethernet cable pull, it would be what the RVRL needs for sure. So I hope Power 8 delivers with that. So here in the fifth session, which was our featured session, pickups were on for this session. We had Ama winning, Power 8 in second place. And they were head and shoulders ahead of the rest of the competition. BGM Yun G-Force representing RVA, all pretty close there. And then here on, this was the strategy session. We had G-Force winning that despite, well, I was going to say despite only winning one race. Yeah, second and third place both won 2 races. So G-Force had the consistency factor there, beating Frostbitten by a mere 2 seconds overall. Makakowski was only about 13 seconds behind. Power 8 about 6 seconds behind that. And Power 8 was less than 100 milliseconds ahead of Kila Barasir for 4th place. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in, y'all. Good to see y'all. So it is currently 19:01, so I am a bit late, but I'm assuming the IO session is still finishing. Let me check the info. Yeah, we're just now getting word that Power 8... Hey, Zyno, if you're here, thank you for that. Give me just a moment. Okay, Zyno just let me know that I had an error in what session I said it was today. This is not the strategy session. I did post that it was a strategy session. It's the endurance session. So just a clarification there. I am loading in. If you're wondering what's going on right now, I'm currently loading into the lobby. We're going to have Power 8 hosting this one. Let's see if lobby's open yet. It is. Okay. Headed over there. Yeah, Tara's still completing the challenges. Oh, shit! I just joined an IO lobby. Okay, that's awkward. Back to the main screen. I was like, wait, what are these cars? Are these guys trolls or what's going on? Okay, alright. Anyways. We can do a little bit more looking at the overall standings here. We see G-Force managed to get his second win. He is the only person with 2 wins. And keep in mind, he was the Season 1 winner of the Revolt Racing League. So no huge surprise to see him in first place. Frostbitten was his main challenger last season, so no huge surprise to see him in third. We've seen Powerade leading for a large majority of this with no wins. He's got 3 second places by this point. Laggy Rock has been staying strong. He got a win early on in the Classic session. Oh, my bad. Don't worry, our races are not starting. Just the demo mode. Okay. Yeah, do we want to start? Let's start streaming the IO session and commentating it. This is our Division 1 pre-show, the extremely professional edition. Okay, so analyzing our points here, we do have a very close midfield battle. Yun, Lager, Kilobaris, Nick, Ama, BGM, all there in the 50s as far as points go. But you can see the gaps that are starting to build. Of course, some of these gaps are a bit artificial. For example, Ama and BGM have both missed 2 sessions. I think BGM will be missing a 3rd session today. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought he said that. Ooh, the team races. Okay, I could maybe do that. That could be fun. I actually do. I think team races are great. I would love to see like some competitive team races, for real. Mirko Volt sessions as well, for sure. Do a little commentary of everything. Yeah. The team races are nice. As long, I was gonna say something about Dolo, but I'm not even gonna go there. Moving swiftly along. Welcome in, Yurak. As long as Dolo is there, I'm sure it will be a good time. Is what I was gonna say. Welcome in, Eritsu. Congratulations on getting in first. Got a whole lot of people chilling with me here today. Shout out to Electro Galvanico. I know you're Tom Bomb. I like that name. That's why I said that. Last time around. Alright, so getting to... Oh, another thing that we could look at is Tova made a really interesting table. I didn't quite understand what was going on with the guaranteed points situation. But we can still show this. I think he's in chat, so maybe... So I think this is if their worst 3 races were removed, this would be their current overall standings. Very well said, GeForce. Very well said. So if we took away the worst races, Powerade and Frostbitten would be tied. They're in second place. Yes. At the end of the entire RVRL, the worst 3 races that any one person has will be removed from their overall standings. And so I think this graph just does that earlier than one would expect. So Yun Ama would be right up there in 4th, 5th, like we talked about, because they've missed 2 sessions by now. So they have 2 zeros. All right, so some interesting stuff for sure. Let's see. Lobby is up. Okay, lobby is up. Oh, my revolt bugged. So, be just a minute more. You're gonna make me open Task Manager? That's crazy. Okay. Let's hop in. I mean, honestly, Maddie, at least it's a, you know, at least it's not like an endurance. I mean, when you're racing endurance with someone who's lagging the entire time, that's literally, it's hellish. Just having them teleporting all over the place for the entire race, and you can't say anything about it because you're racing for the entire hour or whatever. So, we usually get more people here for Division 1 than we do for the other divisions. So if we've got some people here who may not be familiar with what's going on, I can go ahead and hop into that while we load into the lobby here. First of all, we are here with an endurance race today. And by endurance race, I mean endurance races. We're going to be starting with Castle 1, and then we will head into Rooftop Chase Redux Reverse after that. So those are both tracks in the IO main pack. In fact, RVRL, the Revolt Racing League, mostly works with IO packs. So if you see a car or you see a track, it's probably in the IO pack. We've been sticking with mostly stock cars because we've got a lot of stock purists in this event and in competitive events in general. What you're tuned into right now is Division 1. It's the highest rated division in the RVRL. If you like to watch competitive Revolt in any capacity, you're probably going to see some familiar faces here. Will we see anything but a Toyeka? It remains to be seen. Welcome in, Rog. Shout out to all chat today. Y'all are already popping off in what was not very spectacular of a pre-show compared to what we normally do with Go Terror. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. But I do what I can. So, we'll be starting with... how many laps here? We'll be doing 34 laps of Castle 1 and 36 laps of Rooftop Chase Redux Reverse. Ah, Maddie. Hope the surgery goes well. That sucks, man. I'll be thinking about you. "34 laps, but the 3 is silent." I like that, Tova. He did just swap over 34 laps, but yeah. Okay, and we got the pickups off. The carpool today is pretty simple. Let's do, thank you, Kippy. The shout out just reminded me we can do some predictions. So, let's do a prediction for Castle 1. Let's go ahead and get it out there. If people join the lobby late, then I'm sorry, but they just won't be able to be bet on. But I think I'm going to go ahead and start the predictions like now, rather than waiting and then forgetting and then shitting and then, you know, whatever. So who will win Castle 1? One track only. Okay. We'll have Power 8. Hertzu. Yun. Lager. Dom Dom. G-Force, Maddie, 07, Kilobaris, Makakowski. So it's currently 1912, so we should be hopping in pretty soon. I don't know. Powerate's not typically a host, so I don't know if he's waiting for a queue or anything. Let's go ahead and do a 2-minute. Oh, you didn't ping about the lobby though. Okay, so I've been waiting a little bit to see if anybody else is going to join in, but I'm reading the chat right now. Oh, okay, just some notes being made. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. I think 2 minutes is perfectly fine. I'll give y'all a reminder when it starts getting close. But our poll is up. Channel point. Honk, I'm rooting for Laggy Rock, but channel points are a different story. Hell yeah. If you're an RVA fan, you know all about Delhi. Delhi. We got any RVA stands in the chat? I see we got Yun in here. Yun is in our lobby though too. He might have. We got G-Force. Any Delhi gang? We got Rog. Okay, we got Delhi gang in here. It's all about the Delhi. That's right. Delhi. Okay, so we'll be beginning at 1916 here in 1 minute. Okay, yeah, prediction is, you got about 1 minute left on the prediction, so if you want to bet for who you think is going to win Castle 1, not overall, just Castle 1. Yurak. Cool. You gotta go all in sometimes in life. I respect it. Okay, so we got all of our Toyekas here. Let's see. Let's keep it moving here. Okay, we are headed in to our race. Ah, Kippy! I tried. Okay, we're already here in Castle 1 though. So, big turn straight ahead. Couple of people caught out. Keep in mind, there were no qualifications for this, so grid order is randomized. I'll go ahead and turn up the game sound, make sure y'all can hear everything. This is going to be a big part of the track, though, as Powerade blocking somebody. It looked like maybe Kilobaris wasn't quite checked in on that, but we got G-Force versus Laggy Rock, a classic battle for first, second. Behind them, Airtsu and Powerade. I will also say huge shout out to Pokers with the picture-in-picture. Now, unfortunately, he can't be here today. I kind of worded that the wrong way. Big 3 turn here, cutting myself off. Air 2 does get trapped trying to turn a bit too tightly. Laggy Rock gonna say thank you very much, but he gets bumped from the fender on Power 8. Okay, so the landscape changing quite quickly here in Castle 1. This is a slower part of the track, so I will say Pokers unfortunately couldn't be here for the picture-in-picture today. But usually have him for the picture-in-picture. So huge shout out to him. I'm gonna have to make sure I'm extra tuned in to not miss any of the action. Okay, bit of a gap here. Makikoski 4th, Kilobaris, Air 2, Tom Dom, and then Matty Yun. And Yun is one of our top overall points earners, so definitely a worrisome spot for Yun, but he's known to have a trick up his sleeve or two. A bit of a reversal of fortune in order, perhaps. In the meantime, we saw G-Force handling that three-way turn with quite the precision. And yet, Power 8 has not been shaken. Okay, G-Force versus Power 8 continues. Makikoski, Laggy Rock, Kilobaris, Air 2. Let's check this turn. Yeah, it can be quite impactful sometimes. Power 8 getting really caught up in G-Force that time. It looked like he was sending it, but ultimately he got a sent on him. Okay, and we'll see the this slope, curvy, coily deal. Sometimes in Division 2 and 3, we saw people gain and lose a lot of time through that portion. But in Division 1, it hasn't been as obvious. It seems like nobody's really taking it wide and losing a shit ton of time from it, like you can. 3-point turn, Power 8 on the inside, scooting right on by. Barely, and this is something we touched on in Division 2. You'll see the really strong racers on that second turn, they'll already set themselves up for that third turn, so it doesn't even look like a turn anymore. But we see some of the weaker drivers going for more of a wall bang scenario out of the second turn, and then they have to do a full third turn. So a difference in execution there. We saw Power 8 and Makikoski both handling it quite well. Kilobaris, Air 2, Laggy Rock is our 4th, 5th, 6th. So every position still here on the table. If you think G-Force has broken away, he certainly has not. He's done a great job pace-wise, don't get me wrong, but even a minor mistake could completely switch things up. Speaking of minor mistakes, one out of Power 8, it is going to launch him back about 10 meters. Whoa. So Kilobaris salvaging. Got Air 2. Laggy Rock falling back. Yun moving forward. 1-2 positions on Maddie and Tom Dom. And we'll stay tuned in here to this main pack. Power 8. Oh, now that was an interesting interaction there. We don't see that too often, but something going on between Power 8 and Air 2 there. Between the incline and the slope. The star of the show, the 3-point turn, Power 8. Right over Kilobaris' head to jump into third place. Oh, Tova, good analysis there. I actually did not know that was the case. So a little bit of RNG perhaps on the slope. And tuning into G-Force for just a bit. He's really setting the pace for our first race here on Castle 1, setting the tune, and let's see him handle it for a bit. I specifically want to see the 3-point turn. After that, we can start flipping back a little bit. Ooh, not the cleanest. Makikoski moving on up. He's broken away from the pack. We do have a big pack here, probably 3rd through 6th place, all grouped up right here. Kilobaris, Powerade, Airtsu, Laggy Rock. This looks like a good perspective right here. You get eyes on both battles. Oh, Kilobaris wrong way on the track. Yeah, Powerade way on the outside there at the very end. More of a minor error. Makikoski wrecking on air. Oh my, there's paranormal activity on the racetrack here on lap 8. Nobody knows what's going on. A haunting, a conjuring. The 3-point turn. I would love to get an instant replay on that. I need to get into the instant replay game ASAP. So updating y'all on the positioning otherwise, we can still see G-Force just a little ways up ahead, 30 meters. Airtsu staying caught up in this group. Kilobaris did, despite driving in reverse there for a moment, didn't have any too major of losses. And we've seen Yun make a full recovery here. Now I might have some skins that I got to download during the break, and that's my bad. I think I might be missing Yun's, and Makikoski's might be wrong as well. So my bad there, but we'll get that sorted out. We got a 15-minute break in between Castle 1 and Rooftop Chase, so no big deal there. And I actually was going to say that this portion was something that we saw people wreck more on in Division 2-3, but Makikoski does have a wreck. And it was a bit of a strange portion. I think he might have just cut the corner too much there, tipped off the wall, lost control for a moment. But while we have a second, huge shout out to Yun for his recovery work so far. He was way out there in 8th. He's not only moved up 2 positions, but he's now challenging a whole lot of potential positions here. He's like a shark. He's got four drivers up here, waiting for one of them to make a mistake. And this is the more reliable track compared to Rooftop Chase Redux Reverse. If you don't know what Rooftop Chase Redux Reverse is, you're in for a doozy of a second race. But that's neither here nor there, as we're currently stacked up here in Castle 1, Airtsu, Powerade for 2nd, 3rd, Makikoski, Kilobaris 4th, 5th, and they're all hunting down G-Force. Thank you, Steve-Scamp. Not going to read that one, but thank you for weighing in there. Thank you for indicating that you were parodying as well. Always good to see. Great lineup by Airtsu. It's not going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Powerade. It looked like Powerade had the worst execution, but I mean he's still holding out strong here. Oh man. Okay. We've been moving at a breakneck pace here at Castle 1. We're already 12 laps through. Not quite at that halfway point, but approaching it with great haste. Powerade and Airtsu continuing their duel for 2nd place. And I can't help but feel like if Airtsu could get around Powerade, he might be able to challenge G-Force better. It does look like G-Force is slowly starting to break away from the pack, 40 meters out in the lead. He was about 30 last time we checked, so it's nothing too major of a mutation, but it's still there. That 10 meters has been added over time. Kilobaris staying tight to this group, and Yun in the meantime has moved up 1 position over Makikoski. Laggy Rock is still here. I think actually he moved up 2 positions at this point. And then we've got Maddie and Tom Dom struggling to find their footing here early on in Castle 1. Now Makikoski, And is this not the Guatemala flag, except he's got the M on it instead of... Am I crazy? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But every time I look at the Makikoski skin, I just think Guatemala. He's going to continue to be challenging his Chilean brother for 5th place here, Yun. On the inside. A little bit too inside, a little bit too inside again. Back and forth between them. Meantime, Power and Keela back to Yun and Makikoski. See how they handle it. Okay, 3-point turn up ahead. G-Force has broken away from Power 8, and look at that. I'm sorry, Erzu has broken away from Power 8, and look at that. He's now challenging G-Force, and Power 8 is caught up with Keela Baris. Huge shout out, Guatemala. No reason in particular. Maybe it's El Salvador. It doesn't matter. We are moving way away from that topic. Back to the action. G-Force and Erzu. A new battle on our hands. We're not still not at the halfway point. We see G-Force going way outside there, and that might have been the RNG factor that Tova was alluding to. Sometimes you get glue, sometimes you slide. It definitely looked like G-Force slid that time. Tova with the Maddie cheer, yeah. Now, you might be thinking, for these people in the back, that it's going to be a struggle. And it will be, don't get me wrong. But Rooftop Chase Redux Reverse is anyone's race. So as long as Maddie and Tom Dom can do some recovery work here, there's definitely some chances to get a lot of room on Rooftop Chase Redux, because that track is insanity. Keela Baris and Power 8 still duking it out. Erzu and G-Force are as well, but G-Force has yet to lose that 1st place. Power 8. Oh, yeah, see, I don't even want to say anything too fast because it's just kind of like a back and forth kind of deal. So we're going to keep staying tuned into this, but this is a straightaway section for them. Makikoski, Yun, Laggy Rock falling back a bit. Makikoski getting a bit of air to breathe here against Yun. Power 8 on the inside. And then the Keela Bar, and it's just a weird, it's just a weird carnival ride every time they go on it. But it is Keela Bar's winning out. Oh. Okay, almost pushed off into the candelabra. Not gonna happen. Whoa. Excellent by Keela Baris. Looking beautiful. Headed into lap 18. Powered on the inside. Taking it right back. And yeah, that's just an ideal spot to pass, right? I mean, you get to push the other person's fender and then you just say, all right, see ya. All right, I'm interested in this G-Force versus Erzu duel as well. Because are my eyes deceiving me, or is Erzu getting ever so slightly closer here? My eyes may be deceiving me, but it does look like Erzu is ever so closer to G-Force. We'll see them go for the 3-turn. Whoa, whoa, the slide from Erzu. Let's check out best laps. What do y'all think? 49.112 for G-Force, 49.319 for Erzu, 49.338 Keela Baris, 49.326 Power 8, 49.145 Makikoski. So Makikoski is actually tearing it up on this track speed-wise. He's just got to find the consistency here. He's got about 15 laps left to go here on this track. So certainly not out of the woods yet are any of these racers, from someone like Makikoski or even Yun, who seems to have fallen just ever so slightly further back. Now, important to note, well, we'll watch this 3-turn first. Power 8! Wow, dropping on by, and he even stops Kilabaris in his tracks. Okay, checking out G-Force and Airtsu for a bit. This song's gonna get me copywritten. The host advantage. Ah, quite the accusation, Tova. And while you say that, thank you to Power8, who stepped up to host the lobby in Nick's place. Nick being in vacation land. I agree, Kippy. Okay. G-Force and Airtsu. Continue. Whoa, whoa. They're now 45 meters back behind Airtsu. Did they have a tussle? Did they get tangled up? Well, it's hard to say that they did because Makikoski is still 30 meters behind them. So if they did have a Rango Tango, then you'd think Makikoski would be a little bit closer. But Yun has fallen way back comparatively. Way back is a bit of an exaggeration, but a lot of the mistakes here have been pretty inconsequential. So for Yun to be 70 meters back there, it's pretty big. And again, that's kind of a speak of the devil kind of situation because Rooftop Chase Redux, you have the potential to lose 100 meters in one wreck quite easily. So it is kind of the polar opposite of what we're seeing here so far in Castle. G-Force maintaining 10-15 meters. Ah, Kippy, yeah. I don't know, is that an exact quote? But yeah, I remember Keela basically saying that. They fighting for positions, but the whole session is about total time. So, you can fight for positions, but it's only going to hurt you both to do so. Wow, the straight line from Airtsu. Okay. And that's a new best lap time for Airtsu. He just moved up about 100 milliseconds on the back of that best lap. So he is really putting pressure to G-Force. Keep in mind, G-Force is in first place in their overall standings. I don't think Airtsu is even in the top 3 right now. So this is he's definitely not. I don't even know if he's in the top 6 even. Airtsu has been a bit of a quiet racer. He's been going with things like Cougar. He's been going with some fun stuff. But he's here on the Toyeka today. And he's very much challenging our overall Division 1 reigning champion, G-Force. So this is huge for Airtsu. Maybe a little bit of nerves from G-Force. We rarely see it. G-Force is one of our very steely racers. One of those nerves of steel kind of guys. But do we see any cracks here in Castle 1? It's possible. We're going to watch them go for the Ascension here, and then we'll flip back because we do still have Power8 versus Kilabaris on our hands, I do believe, unless something has changed dramatically. And indeed, Power8 and Kila still duking it out. Makikoski, 50 meters back. Yun, they're on islands here for the most part. Maddie, Tom Dom. Maddie has broken away from Tom Dom. Back to our front two. 3-way turn. Left, right, left. No, right, left, right. And we are at the 10 lap point, and 10 laps is a lot. 10 laps is really a lot. From a spectator's perspective, you might be like, well, we did 25 and that was pretty quick, so it's not going to matter that much. But I can promise you, when you're in these racers' heads, it's 9 meters is like if you sneeze and press the directional arrow that you don't mean to press on your keyboard, that could be 10 meters. So this gap is basically nothing between G-Force and Airtsu. Now if G-Force just never makes another mistake, he's going to be in a good spot for sure. He has the best lap time. He's been performing well. But it really doesn't take much here to tip the canoe, so to speak, for either one of these racers. Even Powerade versus Kilobars here, we're looking at one moderate mistake here on Castle 1. So, but I think the stars of our show here, for the moment, are G-Force and Air2. Powerade and Kilobars, that fight is chilled out for the most part. And it does look like G-Force has managed to add a couple of meters here to his gap between himself and Air2. Yeah, neither one of these racers are making a single mistake. They're refusing to make any mistakes. But if we said it one time here on Revolt United channel, we said it a million times here on endurance races, endurance sessions. Those last few laps matter so much. The tension just raises further and further, especially in a scenario like this. Okay, G looks like he's got a little bit of breathing room. Powerade does as well. Everyone else on islands, except for Maddie versus Tom Dom. We can tune back into that once our racers have finished here near the front. We'll definitely catch a little bit of action there. Thank you, Kippy. The funny part is I actually didn't. But I appreciate it, man. It's no big deal, for real, but I do think it's funny that you say that. All right. Time continuing to tick down, and I know I'm tempted to kind of keep looking at these different racers, but a lot of the action has cooled out. Oh, and look at that. One false step by Air2. And he's got the whole brigade on him. Look at that. Oh, man. Air2, one of our underdogs, so to speak, has been kind of going with some of those off-meta picks, maybe a little silly picks. He's all business here today on that green Toyota. It does look like he's thrown some of that battle against G-Force, but we could see G-Force finishing in third here, even fourth. They've breached a new threshold here at lap 30 of 34. Time is ticking down. I wouldn't say Air2 is particularly the type to seed, and that's what makes him good at endurance events, I feel like, and just racing in general is actually his mental state. I feel like the guy does not really get upset that much. I could be wrong. Call me out if I'm wrong, but that's the impression I get. I think having that cool, calm, and collected mental is what is able to get him some positions that maybe he shouldn't have. Now, speaking of positions that he shouldn't have, Powerade is just going to push Air2 the hell out of the way like it's Black Friday, and Powerade just spotted a TV that's 80% off. But Air2 is going to do it right back in response. Well, they don't have pickups on, but they're going to do their best to use whatever they can throw at the enemy here, even themselves. Both of them sitting a headbutt at each other. Powerade way on the inside, and he is just going to outright steal second place from Air2. Daylight robbery. 35 meters is G-Force, feeling fine. Keep in mind, this is total race time. So it's not, there's no score difference between Powerade and Air2. But if you're headed into Rooftop Chase Redux Reverse with an advantage, you gotta be feeling pretty good about that. Powerade challenging too hard. He is going to be able to block Kilobaris, so Kilobaris can't super escape from him. But Powerade, things are starting to fall apart just a bit. And Steez even kind of prophesized it. Powerade is so close inside on these turds, it's wild, and it was ultimately his demise. Not fully. But he did add insult to injury with it. So we're running out of time here. Kippy, Ertzu knows the manager. Okay, we're running out of time here. We got 2 laps left. And so the really cool part about this being total race time is, sure, G-Force is going to win this, but he's not winning it by any sizable margin at all. So we're going to head into Rooftop Chase Redux Reverse with G-Force, Ertzu, Kilobaris, and Powerade all within a couple seconds of each other. Even Makikoski is only going to be like 2 seconds behind first place. I mean, maybe a little bit more than that, but you know what I mean. Now, Ewan has fallen 200 meters behind Makikoski in the meantime, and Laggy has been struggling as well. So not the best situation for Ewan, but for the rest of these drivers, it is going to be quite the race on Rooftop Chase Redux Reverse as Powerade almost gets pushed into a swan dive off the track. But here on the final lap, but he is going to hold on all 4 wheels on the track, and they are wrapping up Castle 1. One more half of a lap, give or take, and they will be locking down. They're 50 meters behind G-Force, and then there's about 30 meters between the 3 of them. And then Makikoski is about 40 meters back. So even first to 5th place, we're talking about a gap of about 100 meters. So this is great. There's G-Force finishing. Ertzu in 2nd, Kilo 3rd, Powerade 4th, Makikoski 5th. And so about 2.5, 3 seconds of gap between G-Force and Kilobaris Ertzu. Yun finishing up. We also have the duel between Maddie and Tom Dom. It looks like Maddie has stayed in the lead there. This is indeed going to be Rooftop Chase Redux Reverse Multi-Mix Platinum 2 Director's Edition here. Because this is going to be the spiciest remix of Rooftop Chase Redux Reverse that we have ever seen, with all of these racers so tightly grouped race time wise headed into our second track. We saw some very much larger gaps in Division 2 and 3. So to see 5th place is only 6 seconds behind first, that's insane. That's huge. Even Yun is only 18 seconds behind. So really, not bad stuff here. We're gonna have to see who came prepared. Okay, so I'm gonna be DMing some people. Give me just a moment. I'll have our scores up in just a second as well. Okay, I'm getting word back from Frost right now saying not to wait on him. I see Lampert is AFK at the moment as well. Hey, Maddie back in the chat. A rooftop chase has been a make or break scenario in both of our divisions. It was like, I mean, just like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. We've got like 2 or 3 different shortcuts, and we've also got like 2 or 3 different parts of the track that are extremely finicky. Maybe more like 4 parts of the track that are extremely finicky. So it's really anyone's race, especially with how small these gaps are. And speaking of small gaps, ooh, we got a thunderstorm. I'm just telling you all ahead of time, just in case I DC. But let's get the live standings pulled up. I didn't quit, did I? No, I didn't. Shout out to me, honestly. Okay, let's give the standings a try. Thank you, Yurak. Oh, that's right. We had our channel points winner. It's G-Force was our winner of Castle 1. So I'll get the second poll up for y'all. This is gonna be for Rooftop Chase Redux Reverse Multi-Mix Platinum 2 Director's Edition.